Greetings, New Zealand naturopath Eric Bakker, author of Candida Crusher, formulator of the Canxida range of supplements. Thanks for checking out my video, and I hope you're enjoying the Helicobacter pylori series so far. So far we've covered many different videos. I'll just read out a list of some of the videos that we've completed. What is Helicobacter? What are the signs and symptoms? What are the causes? How to test and diagnose? What are the risk factors? How to prevent it? And now we're going to talk about Helicobacter natural treatment. What is the most effective natural treatment for this bacteria? Before we go into natural treatment, I should talk a little bit about the medical treatment called triple therapy. I used to be a big fan of triple therapy for many years, particularly when I worked in medical centres over the years. I'd often prescribe triple therapy for patients. And this basically means two different antibiotics, and then either an acid blocker or a stomach shielding drug. So, in fact, Dr. Barry Marshall never recommended one medication alone for Helicobacter. He believed there was importance to alter the environment of the gut, either by shielding, the gut and giving a strong drug, or by blocking the acid production and giving one or two drugs. And so eventually evolved a treatment called triple therapy, which has become very popular. Triple therapy is also used with drugs like rifaximin, and drugs like that in a SIBO sense, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Now, some naturopathic doctors are actually recommending antibiotics too. So I got mixed results, but I've been in practice now for nearly 30 years, and what I did discover over a period of time was that 3/4 or more of patients with HP infection who had triple therapy would come back and say, I'm feeling sick again. It lasted for 6 months, or it lasted for 1 year, or it lasted 2 years, but now I feel like crap. I've got the same symptoms. I've got heartburn, I've got bloating. I'm just not really interested in eating much, and I've got a lot of diarrhea or constipation. What's wrong with me? And I went back to the doctor and he tested and he said everything's fine, but I'm pretty sure I've got the same thing I had last time. So what do you do in that case? Well, these days I just treat naturally. And there are many different kinds of protocols that I recommend for patients, but I'm not going to be biased here, and I also don't really care what you take. I just want you to have a good result with what you do take. So I'm going to come up with a lot of different suggestions for you. I had an interesting discussion with a lady when I was in Sydney, Australia in 2015 at a medical conference, a retired gastroenterologist who told me, Eric, I don't treat with triple therapy anymore. I gave up after 20 odd years of using it. I found it just didn't work for the majority of people. And she said, I found that most people who ended up getting it would come back saying, it's back again. And I was always reluctant to give it 2 or 3 times over. And she said, and B, the other thing I discovered was many people have strong side effects from the triple therapy. Okay, and the triple therapy can produce side effects like metallic taste in the mouth, headache, diarrhea, vaginal yeast infections or jock itch. So a patient can end up with a lot of yeast infections. But the big thing, she said, is you wipe out so many of the beneficial bacteria that they end up with a secondary problem. You potentially have a good kill rate on the upper digestive system, but eventually that comes back again, but then you've killed off the stuff below that, and that can take a lot longer to come back. So all you're doing is you're basically giving a person a very short-term cash loan with a freaking high interest rate. That's what you're doing when you're giving triple therapy. You're buying them a little bit of time, but there's about 10-15% chance, in my opinion, that they're going to be cured with this disease. There's a bigger chance they're not going to be cured. You'll get a very good eradication, but you won't get a complete elimination. Okay. So I said to this lady, okay, you've told me that, so what do we do? How do we get rid of this? And she said, well, it's about controlling the bug in the body. It's about keeping the symptoms at bay by managing effective diet and lifestyle, and making sure the patient eats the right kind of foods and has the right fermented and cultured foods. And I put my arm around this lady because she was a nice old lady. She would have been about 69. I said, you should have been a naturopath. What the heck are you a gastroenterologist for? And she said, I've always been a naturopath. I've always worked like this for people, but sometimes you need to use stronger medications than what you guys use. But I asked her if she uses any antibiotics now, and she said she would never recommend them. After all those 40-odd years of clinical experience, she said to me, she found that in most cases antibiotics were a complete waste of time when it came to the digestive system. I thought, wow, that's quite a powerful, thing for someone to say who's been in conventional medicine for so long. a complete waste of time. But in this video, we're going to talk about the natural treatment and the eradication. And I assume that's why you're looking at this, because you may have tried triple therapy and found that it was a complete waste of time. You may have had recurrent triple therapy treatment and had a long history of symptoms as a result of that. But don't worry, the chances are good that you can still get your health back. So how do we eradicate this thing naturally? Well, the really important thing for you to get through your mind is you are not going to get rid of this thing by just taking pills alone. End of. If you think that just taking a pill will eradicate this thing, just switch off the video now or go and watch some crazy cat videos or something. Or, people falling off bicycles and stuff like that. Okay, because that's probably going to make you laugh. Because it's laughable what you're thinking. You can't get rid of this bug with pills alone. Okay, just remember that one. Write it down. It's important, right? You're going to get rid of this bug by changing aspects of your diet and lifestyle. You're going to get rid of this bug by getting to bed on time. Okay, when you're tired, and not liking people on your iPad in bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. You won't get rid of a tummy bug doing that. Okay, checking your mobile phone every 15 minutes for notifications or emails. You've got to learn to relax a lot more and go with your, here comes another pun, gut instinct or gut feeling. When you get tired, you need to chill out. I like people to have relaxation sessions most days where they have like a 10-15 minute complete break from everything. They lie down, you just relax. I have those 7 days a week, and I think they're crucial, very, very crucial, because they recharge your batteries. By you being more intuitive about your diet and lifestyle, by understanding the basic tenets of good health, you're going to be miles ahead of anyone who thinks they can eradicate this by taking a pill. Pills are the icing on the cake, and they will assist in complete eradication. Well, I shouldn't use the word eradication, we should use the word control. They will help to control the bug so it doesn't become no longer a problem. So the rest is critically important. The second thing is the alcohol intake. You cannot wish to get rid of Helicobacter if you're drinking alcohol on a regular basis. It's not going to happen. Okay, you've got to stop drinking alcohol completely for at least 6 to 12 months. That's the best way for you to go forward. If you've got any kind of stomach problem, stop drinking now. If you can't stop drinking, again, please turn the video off because you're probably wasting your time going any further. The sleep, the no drinking, and the making wise food choices. Going forward, the foods that tend to aggravate you need to be pushed to one side. So if you're starting to eat foods that create queasiness or nausea or bloating or burping or make you feel unwell in any way, push them aside and don't have them for some time. Don't get too restrictive with your diet though. It is important to stop eating out and making bad dietary choices. I'll say it again. You cannot get rid of this bug with a pill alone. You need to make choices across the board. You need to fix up those sloppy habits you've got. You need to fix what's broken when it comes to your diet and lifestyle. You know what you're doing is either good or bad. So you need to turn the bad into the good. And those are the sort of things that are going to help you get, on top of the Helicobacter infection. Even before we talk about treatment, to me, this is common sense stuff, right? So you've got to get that right first. Once you've got that right, you can start putting more increasing amounts of things into the digestion that are going to help to counter bacterial infections. It's no measure of, what's the word I should use? There's a reason why people in certain countries eat the foods that they do. Have you ever thought why, for example, in the tropical regions, they eat lots of chili and garlic and ginger and turmeric, okay, and cardamom seed and ajuan seed and all these special seeds and barks and nuts and roots and herbs are particularly endemic around the tropical region. And think of where all some of the most powerful herbs grow for eradicating parasites. Oregano, basil, rosemary, thyme. They grow in the warm climates, the dry climates, the hot climates, the climates that are conducive for bacterial infection. These are the sort of foods that are good to include into your diet. Cloves, the spiced cloves, garlic, turmeric, ginger, the green herbs, oregano, thyme, rosemary, basil, marjoram. Include all of these into your diet, particularly fresh. The fresh green herbs you want to really add a lot to salads and to different, things that you prepare. Steamed vegetables or baked vegetables. Put these sort of things in there. With meats, you can use a lot of rosemary. Rosemary's got very powerful antibacterial qualities about it too. Fresh garlic, I'm a fan of that. Now, if you can't tolerate it, you may need to steam it or cook it until you can tolerate it raw. Remember, because you've got the infection, you may have a big problem tolerating certain kinds of foods. Tolerance comes over time. It doesn't mean to say you'll always have to avoid those kinds of foods. But incorporating those things into your diet is going to work. Check out my videos on fermented and cultured foods. Okay, yogurt is very, very good. Kefir is excellent for the problem with the stomach. So coconut kefir might be more effective. The water kefir is quite strong, but the milk kefir is usually okay as well if it's been made properly. So sauerkraut is another potentially good food for people with Helicobacter. So these are going to change the way the bug really lives and thrives in the gut. They're going to change the acid-alkaline nature. These foods have got lactic acid in it. These foods tend to be favoured by the beneficial bacteria that also live in the gut. Because yes, you do have beneficial bacteria that live right from the mouth right through. So by eating fermented and cultured foods regularly, you'll slowly turn the tide on this gut dysfunction. Drinks are very important to understand with Helicobacter. I don't like people drinking really hot or really cold foods when they've got a HP infection. So coffee and tea is probably out. You need to drink things that are tepid or at room temperature. Icy cold ice creams or really hot drinks, not a good idea. Not a good idea. You're just going to aggravate the stomach. Chewing food properly and eating at regular times is very important as well. Digestive enzymes may be of significant benefit for you with HP, because remember what we said? A percentage of people will have poor stomach function. The over-acidity that you're experiencing really is the gas production of the bacteria and the inflammation that it causes in the wall of the stomach. So anti-inflammatory foods are good to have in your diet. So try and understand the fact that HP is an inflammatory kind of condition. So by having an anti-inflammatory diet, you're going to go a long way towards working with the immune system, not against it. So if we look at inflammatory foods, red meats, soda drinks, ice cream, sugar, alcohol, these are all inflammatory foods. Green vegetables and lean meats and neutral or alkaline grains are anti-inflammatory. You know what I mean? So I've made other videos regarding, I believe, inflammation or other articles you can read on YeastInfections.org that will cover this quite nicely. So it's important that you eat the right kind of foods. Anti-Candida approach, or the Candida crusher approach, is a very good approach for eradicating this particular bug as well. I'd also like you to take an antifungal, anti-bacterial product. Many people, in my opinion, with Helicobacter have also got low levels of fungal problems in their body. They've got fungus. They can have different kinds of fungus. Rhodotorula, for example, is a particular type of yeast that can thrive in them. Candida species can live there. They can have parasite problems. They can have Cryptosporidium. They could have blastocystis. They can have many other associated problems with this. So taking one particular product as an isolate, to me, is not really a good idea. I prefer you to take a broad spectrum approach. In the old days, I used to give people gum mastica and bismuth and particular herbals like licorice, particular form of licorice I found would be very soothing for the stomach. But continually working with Candida patients and parasite patients, I created a formula, and I found that formula works beautiful with Helicobacter patients as well. And that formula is called Canxida Remove. That contains a whole bunch of different things in it, and some of the best antibacterials you're going to find in any kind of natural supplement. So I'll often start a patient on a half of a Canxida Remove tablet per day when they've got a HP infection or any type of upper digestive problem. I'll start them on a half a tablet. And then after 3 or 4 days, I go to a half a tablet twice per day. 3 or 4 days, I go to 1 tablet in the morning, half a tablet in the evening. 3 or 4 days, 2 tablets, 3 or 4 days. You know what I mean? I just gradually build up until they can tolerate 3 tablets per day, morning, noon, and night. And I'll keep them on that for a 6-week block. Okay, so if you can build up to 3 of those Canxida Remove over a 6-week block, you should notice a significant improvement in your upper GI symptoms. Not only that, but you will have also really gone to town on any bacteria or parasites further down in the digestive system. I've made 3 products which I think are going to work outstandingly for Helico patients. The Canxida Remove, the Canxida Restore, and the Canxida Rebuild. The Restore contains enzymes and probiotics, which is perfect for people with Helicobacter infection. The Canxida Rebuild, I think it's one of the first multivitamins ever created for people specifically with gut dysfunction. So I created the Canxida Rebuild for people with Helicobacter, with Candida, with parasites, with SIBO, with food allergies, with leaky gut, with all of these kinds of functional gut problems. The Canxida Rebuild is an excellent product. It contains things like thyme in it and oregano, and also I put gum mastica in there as well. So gum mastic is a resin they use in supplements. It comes from a particular tree that belongs to the pistachio family. It's been used in Middle Eastern countries for incredible long time for stomach and GI dysfunction. So I put that in there. So the Rebuild is basically a multivitamin with a backbone or a base, an antibacterial, antifungal base, and it works perfectly with the Remove and the Rebuild work beautifully together as a tandem unit. But when you put the Restore in there, you've got the triad of what I think are the 3 best nutrients for the gut. So try them out. They're available as a pack. You can get them online at canxida.com. They'll soon be available here in Australia and New Zealand for our many customers down here, and all my fan base in Sweden. Hello, all you Swedish people, and people all throughout Northern Europe and Asia as well. So I hope this video has been of some benefit for you today. Now, what am I going to say to close? You can't eradicate Helicobacter with a pill alone. Thanks for tuning in.